Let me start over. Hi, my name is Mark Miller. Today I have an educational proposal for the wonderful individuals in this room for the Power of the People Corporation. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for being here and give me an opportunity to share my corporation's vision, our plan, and our goals to see if we would be able to qualify for such a wonderful grant and to be able to promote the program that we're actually going to do. So, initially what we're looking at, the Gap Research Corporation focuses on a few things. One is it's focuses on battling oppression through identifying grant-awarded programs that through grant requirements will oppress or discriminate. So what we look at is we look at the different programs that that's already established and figure out a way that we can eliminate the possibility of further oppression or discrimination through an unattended victim or an inattended victim. So as we build this thing, what we're looking at is trying to find a way that we can actually continue to help people continue to battle oppression. We're going to focus in the educational programs, and really this particular grant that we're asking you to kind of look at and provide for us is really going to be looking at the K through 12 area here at Webb City, Missouri, Webb City High School. We're going to focus on low SES individuals, so trying to get them, garner them to a point where they can gain more education and get us to a point where maybe college is in the future, and then beyond that maybe they establish a better occupation to be able to provide better money for themselves and their family. We also about creating purpose and opportunities. I mean, a lot of these individuals, especially the low SES, first generation college students, and non-traditional students, really, don't see themselves in college, and they lack the idea of purpose or the idea of opportunity. So we're going to kind of focus on that. And then we're going to focus on the 9th through 12th grade. So based on the available grant, that's what we're doing. And really what we're going to do is really our proposal is really based on the TRIO programs. TRIO program's an incredible program out there. Really, once again, they are looking at first generation college students. As we know that the research is out there, it's very good, incredible research, understanding that first generation college students are kids going into college that has no parents that have ever been to college or have ever completed college, will have a less of an emphasis on going to school, so their academics in high school is normally pretty poor. They're unable to do that. So really the TRIO programs focus on getting those students to this higher level to where their SAT scores, their ACT scores, their grades and everything else allows them to get into college. Right? These students are also going to be low SES, which is they're going to follow those federal guidelines that put them in the poverty level, or disability students, which have some sort of disability going on in their lives that may not allow them to get on to college. We're going to look at their structured program. Really, the research is very good about understanding first generation college students in the sense that if in high school we were able to connect the students to peer support, faculty support, build strong relations between faculty and students, and if we can actually build a very strong summer program to continue the education or continue to put the emphasis of education, those students do really well. So the structured program TRIO works really well, and the research supports that dramatically. The problem we run into is, or our piece to it is the selection piece. In interviewing the TRIO programs here in the local area and throughout the United States, what we found is that, based on the grant itself that they're given through the Department of Education, they are limited in the ability to select lower end students. So one of the individuals that I interviewed said, you want to know something, we won't take a C student. So the challenge of it is getting the students that are a greater need. Basically, we're going to look at hiring a full-time staff member to cover this. We're going to utilize existing TRIO activities. We're going to do weekly check-ins. We're going to do monthly workshops on study skills, preparation for testing. We're going to do educational testing, on those particular tests, and then we're going to, join with the TRIO programs for the summer programs. The GRC's goal is to eliminate oppression and discrimination. Our overall goal is to kind of work with those individuals to kind of get them to do that. Increase GPA above 2.5, so they're more marketable for college. Increase social connections, which once again is individuals that struggle in that category. First generation college students or first generation, low SES are going to have normal connections that don't support education. So what we're going to try to do is get those in there. We're going to increase staff-student partnership. We're going to increase study test note-taking and techniques, and then we're going to create SAT and ACT. So overall what we're doing is we're going to incorporate what's already being done by the TRIO program, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work very hard at taking at least 5 students that is no longer accepted by the TRIO programs because their grades are too low, in attendance, or things along those lines. And we're going to take 5 students in the Webb City High School school district, and we're going to basically mimic what the TRIO program does to prove a little bit of a couple things. One is research to see if those students can be successful. So are we unintentionally limiting them from this program because they just haven't done very well in the past? And are we discriminating against them that way? And can we get them to be able to move forward and be able to be successful? Right? Enroll 5 students within the fall semester 25. We're going to utilize the Webb City School District, so we've already have an agreement with the Webb City High School that we're going to be able to select 5 students and focus on them through Webb City. We're going to establish student parent meetings by 1 October 15 is really our plan for implementation. So after we select those, we're going to get with the student, we're going to get with their family, because once again, it's creating that family support and that community support is going to be very important. First monthly workshop is going to be 17 October, which is going to start teaching study skills, test skills, things along those lines. We're going to do weekly checkups, so once a week our full-time staff member is going to be involved in actually just looking to see where the grade's at, how they're doing, and just have that regular follow-up. And then we're going to join Upward Bound for cultural trips and summer programs. So what we find is that they have a great summer program already. We're just going to have to buy into utilizing their programs. But all of it, as far as the implementation, is just beginning this process of showing a lot of focus. What we find in the TRIO programs right now, they're very, very successful. So we're seeing if we can utilize these 5 students. Right? Here's my budget. Basically, we're looking at full-time staff members about $31K. That's what we're gonna pay. And we've had many individuals kind of looking at that as a possibility. Equipment's going to be about $3K. We're looking at buying, iPads for those 5 students to try to do that way to get them. One is being in that low SES, they may not have an economic ability to be able to access those. So we're going to basically utilize that so they can utilize the Blackboard portion of Upward Bound and the TRIO programs. We're going to look at monthly stipends. Right now, basically, we're looking at $40 a month if they meet their requirements, their weekly meetings, if they make the monthly workshop, and they either maintain their current grades or improve their current grades, and they're in attendance. So they're going to be able to actually get paid for that. Weekly check-ins. Right now, that's going to cost us nothing. Monthly workshops going to be about 1.2K, which is going to be about 3 hours on a Saturday, which we're going to provide them lunch. So that's going to be really important. We're also going to look at educational testing. So, we're looking at once a year hiring in someone from Kaplan to be able to come in and teach ACT and SAT testing. And I know in this particular area there's mostly ACT they're looking at taking. But we're going to teach that, and then the practice tests, being able to actually take those tests to see where they garner, to see if we can get them to a 25, 24, 25 and above for their ACT, so they'll be more likely to be able to enroll into college. We're also looking at some summer programs, basically, and that summer program's going to cost, because basically what the TRIO programs do now is they house them for a month, at a location, and basically they do a lot of activities, involvement, once again connecting to peer support, connecting information on testing, taking electives, and some of the big ones are really that dual credit stuff to help them get credits prior to college. And then really some of the other costs is transportation costs. In the end, it's going to cost us about $50K, which is exactly what I'm asking from you guys today for our particular board. Really the purpose is to just challenge program selection process is really our real big thing, to see whether we can take lower end, higher need students, rather without the limitation of, hey, you got to have some metrics or some outcome metrics like the Department of Education requires. See if we can actually do that and are successful. Influence about 5 students. Right now, that's a real big key. If we can get 5 students, we're changing generations, we're changing, the individuals. Decrease future poverty and really state benefits rates. Identify future occupations and major, and so basically part of that program over a 4-year period is really going to help them find what matches who they are from a personality standpoint, from an interest standpoint, and basically really at the end is just reinforce the idea of purpose and opportunity. Once again, is not being locked in to be able to be limited in what they're going to do in the future. Really, so that's really what we're asking for. Are there any questions for us today?
For your transportation needs, what exactly is the transportation for? Like to and from where?
It's going to be from, basically, we're going to be housed at Missouri Southern State University. That's where my office is going to be. Part of that transportation covers the cost back and forth to Webb City throughout the entire year. It also covers the cost of the culture events, and the summer program and transporting the students to where they're going. And it's also about picking up the student at a set location at Webb City High School and to take them to different locations for the weekend or the monthly workshops. It's a high estimate. I understand that, and that will be written down very specifically in our receipts. So if for some reason we are unable to, we don't spend that much money, that money will come back to you. But we were looking at kind of a high-end estimate between the transportation to all those particular events. Any other questions?
On your budget, you mentioned monthly stipend.
Yeah, would you like me to go back to that?
Yeah, go back to your budget slide. What was the purpose of the monthly stipend for the student?
The monthly stipend is to really kind of promote kind of some interest and some incentive. And what we found in the TRIO programs right now, they give $40 a month to each and every one of their program, each one and every one of their students at the high school level. One thing it does is, it gives them a little bit of money, because a lot of the individuals we have, are trying to work, they don't have a lot of money, and to kind of just feel good about themselves and they're part of the program, it has been a great way to kind of keep people in the program. If I do all these particular things, I'm going to get to a point where, I'll be able to get my $40 for the month. And it doesn't seem like much, but $40 to a high school student, for just following through with those particular things works out very well. And looking at the research from the Upward Bound here in Joplin, they're very successful with that. They find that, when the stipend gets really low, because they fluctuated it, when it gets really low, they have less involvement, and when it gets to their $40, they get the most buy-in, the most participation.
Okay.
And so that's kind of just going kind of off. And what I didn't want to do is, for looking this from a research standpoint, I didn't want to veer too much from what the TRIO program was, because then I couldn't actually compare that data together.
Gotcha.
So trying to stay standardized with what TRIO is already doing.
Okay.
Any other questions that we may have?
No.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. If there's no other questions, I'll turn it over to the next individual. Thank you.